Hello everybody, today is Friday, December 15th, and on my left is the time and sales. We can see the E-mini S&P currently trading at 2681 and a quarter. It's 2:31 and 58 seconds, almost 2:32 now as I'm recording this, so it's about an hour and a half before the regular session close. I missed making a couple of videos this week because I had Windows update started in the middle of the session and restarted my computer, so I missed at least 2 days of video from some technical difficulties. I think yesterday was the day that I know would have been really good looking at the swings of the market. Some of my clients reported some good returns on their strategies. Anyway, today is Friday, December 15th, and first up is the Nasdaq. Somebody recently wrote to me about wanting to see performance for the Nasdaq. Well, here you go. Here's our Nasdaq on a 987 BWT Heikin-Ashi tick chart, and I made these open, low, high, close bars so we could see the bars a little bit better and see the trades a little bit better. And this one did 1290 for the day. I believe the goal is 1300. As you can see here, loss limit is 1200. And I'm going to start showing the name of our template that we're using. So here's our template for this chart. And this traded in such a way that we had one small loser here, very small loser. Looked like maybe a tick or two at the most, and then we had straight up from there. So what I want to point out about this is, first of all, we're using the line break algorithm, so we can see several trades here based on the line break signals. We did not take this line break signal to go short, the red dots, because in this setup we require the bars to be blue to take a line break signal long. And that's what the green dots are, is this is the line break signal to go long. So we had a couple of trades here. We probably exited the trade here because of the line break signal to go short, but then it took us long again. But what I noticed about this chart that jumped out at me in a big way is that the indicators did a fantastic job of catching this entire move. So the indicator signal is here at 64.1575, and the market went as high as where it is right now, 64.83. So 64.15 to 64.83 would be almost 70 ticks, 70 points in the Nasdaq, which would be, I think it's 4 ticks a point now, so it would be 280 ticks. If this move was 70 points, that would be 280 ticks in the Nasdaq. So point is, the indicator signals on this is just fantastic. It just doesn't get any better than this. And if you scroll back in the chart, you'll see similar performance on the indicator signals. Pretty good signals here for the most part, particularly when we get a large move. So this was quite a solid day for the Nasdaq on the 987 tick chart. Okay, I'm just starting to follow the Russell again, and I plotted it on several time frames, so this is all brand new. But the 150 tick line break chart really delivered strongly today, and again, this was a strong trending day to the upside, not uncommon for this time of year. I imagine that the market is going to finish on a strong rally into the end of December, making new highs. And the Russell here did pretty good. It was fairly active, and we had a drawdown here of about $300. And I literally have no money management on this. I'm just letting it trade. Well, actually, I take that back. But the money management doesn't begin until we hit like 100 ticks in profit. So anyway, this has a goal of 1500, and indeed it hit its goal and had 1 tick of slippage. This is trading only 2 contracts, and so some really nice trades here. A lot of winners on these swings to the upside. Okay, the Dax on the Superenco 7 tick did 1537, and here's the template that we use for the Dax, and then our daily goal on this is 1500 and a loss limit of 1200. So we hit our goal with 1 tick of positive slippage, and pretty impressive looking trades here on the Dax. The remaining Dax contracts, the 14 tick and the 10 tick, were stopped out. The 150 tick had a minor gain. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, the mid cap was largely underwater for most of the session. It drew down almost $1,000, but then recovered strongly with these winning trades here, and overcame its drawdown and deficit to finish at plus 450. So still respectable day in spite of a drawdown of almost to the loss limit. Okay, next up is the E-mini S&P. This has been a real consistent performer with targets of 7, 8, and 9 ticks. Here's our template name here, and then here is the setup here. So our profit targets on this 7, 8, and 9 ticks with a 700 daily goal and 700 loss limit. This chart has actually been pretty reliable, pretty solid performer. The rest of the gains on the charts, remaining charts, are fairly modest. This is the bonds on the Superenco 2 tick. Just had a single trade, good for a couple of ticks at 250 using our line break algorithm. Okay, the Dax on a 150 tick Heikin-Ashi chart did 325 for the day, but looking at the equity curve here, this ran up to $1,000 in P&L on this first trade. So again, in trading the Dax, you could have smaller profit targets that would probably get hit more often, but the volatility in the Dax is pretty high. As you can see, one losing trade brought us down from 1,000 to 325. Another way to approach this perhaps is with smaller stops, but then you run the risk of getting stopped out too soon. So it's kind of a dance you do, adjusting your settings. From the looks of the chart, this was kind of a crappy session here. The whole DAX session was not looking that good on this chart. It just looks like some sideways mush. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a Superenco 6 tick had 2 winners and 2 losers. Obviously the losers were smaller, but still drew down almost $600 and then recovered. So to finish at 512 is pretty good. The $1,000 swing the other way. But this has been a pretty reliable chart. This is our template here, SR6 limit -2. We had a modest gain in the gold on the Superenco 14 tick of 240. Next up is the E-mini S&P Superenco 2 tick with a 4 tick higher time frame, and this did 475 for the day. This too has been a pretty consistent performing chart, and it achieved this on just a couple of trades, 3 trades perhaps. That's all for today's video. If you'd like to find out more, please visit our website at bluewavetrading.com, or feel free to contact us at systems@bluewavetrading.com. Thanks for watching today.